How wonderful it is to be alive. A very warm welcome to you, friends, from all over the world. This is Flourishing Academy. I'm Aumrie here in Los Angeles. This is a mindful community. This is a space where we come together, where we bond together and find community, find in our shared values this sense of being together, this sense of belonging. And we're finding this sense, this light, this community in the middle of a world that's oftentimes hostile, in a world that can be confusing. You know, some may say that we are living in a fallen age, where our society is in a form of decay, where our leadership is run amok. And as a people, we are lost. But we're here to say, as Thomas Wolfe says, go seeker, if you will, throughout the land, and you will find me in the night, in the middle of the dark night of the soul, in the middle of the difficulty, in the middle of the challenge, in the middle of the adversity. You will find community. You will find strength. You will find this mindful path that leads you deep within, that leads you towards a wellspring of power, that leads you towards a reservoir of peace, that leads you towards this altar of justice that we find at the center of our hearts and that we find deep within our minds. This is a place where we unlock the Dharma, this teaching of awakening our lives to this boundless sense, our minds to this luminous quality, our hearts towards this sense of freedom in the midst of our responsibilities, in the midst of our duties. This isn't a spiritual teaching that says that you are to just not be responsible. This is a teaching that says that you are to be responsible, that something is being asked of you, something more than just your wants, needs, and desires. Something deeper is being asked of you, and it's to help reach higher ground and to help others along the way. And so you can call this a community. The ancients said that it was Sangha, that it was a council of wisdom, a council of elders. And that's often the problem in our society. We can't find the elders. We can't find the wisdom. We can't find the way showers. There's so many young people out there who are just lost. They feel hopeless and they feel like the society has turned their back, that the culture has turned its back upon the young. But this is a place that says, I will stand. I will stand in the midst of the confusion. I will stand in the gap and help others reach higher ground. I don't know if you watched the debate tonight. Maybe you caught a little bit of it. Maybe you caught none of it at all. But the big moment, if you will, was this back and forth over contributions and who were the donors and who could potentially have bought a prioritized space in a president's view, in some of the candidates' view. And the big talk was about wine. $900 bottles of wines and wine caves. And we get so caught up in these minute things. We get so caught up in the granular things where we miss the bigger picture. That our society is in decay, that we are living in a fallen age, that we are being ripped apart at its seams, and technology is only exacerbating it. And we have to find a way to unplug from this haste and unplug from the challenges of our life and plug into the depth of our heart and depth of our mind and depth of our core values and go deep into our humanity. This is the way that we will find our way out, by stepping out of the shallow end and moving into the deep end. There's a Zen koan that says, what are the depths of the deep? And the invitation there is to constantly unfold, to allow your life, to allow your values, to allow the beauty that is within you to constantly unfold in front of you. And so that's the invitation here. And as you go through life and you're facing conflict and you're facing tension, you may have some major decisions in front of you. And you don't know how you're going to navigate through. You may have some bills approaching, and you don't know how exactly you're going to pay them. You may be going into the holidays saying, oh, this is a tough time of year. Nothing has ever gone right during the holidays for me. People have turned their back on me. People have abandoned me. People have shown me the cold shoulder. They have rejected me during the holiday season. I feel so lonely and isolated during this time of year. You may be saying that. You may be experiencing that. You may be feeling that Scrooge feeling that says, "Oh, bah humbug." Who wants to deal with that? The Dharma says that you are of noble birth. That at any moment with a single breath, you can choose to inhabit a space that is wide. That you can choose to let down the guards that you have placed all around your heart. Not to leave it unguarded, but to turn it open. But to orient it towards something deeper and more meaningful, towards the Dharma. And that's the beauty of our practice. That it is a constant reminder to open our hearts and to open our minds. It says to fling open the gates of your hearts, build a raft, cross over to the other side, and step into that place of freedom and ease and wisdom and compassion and kindness. Don't you think we can use more kindness in this world today? Don't you think that we can use a little more love in this world today? Don't you think that we could use a little more friendliness in our day-to-day interactions? It can be so hostile and cold out there, friends. That if we just take a moment to take a step back from all the busyness and take a step into the connection with one another, a relationship with one another, a sense of being a neighbor with one another, that we can become one people. With many different ideas, with many different points of view. And that isn't the teaching where we all have to have one common idea, that we all have to see the same way. The teaching is that we become one people with many expressions. That's the beauty of the Dharma. It's not trying to turn you into an automaton or a robot that say that you can't think differently, that you can't dissent, because you can be mindful and still dissent. You can be mindful and still have a differing viewpoint. You can be mindful and still stand up to authority and say there must be change. You can be mindful and still advocate for justice and still advocate for ecology and still advocate for equality. This is a teaching that says you can find this strength within and push it out into the world. That you find this strength within and you can speak to the highest authority and say, out of our shared sense of duty and our shared belief in who we are as a society, and these truths that we hold, because of these truths, I choose to speak out. I choose to speak up on. And whether you're talking to a politician or speaking to your boss, whether you're talking to someone in a position of authority or someone who is in charge of a decision that impacts your life, you can still advocate. To the hospital administrator, you can advocate. To the school, you can advocate. To the board of directors, to an important investor, you can still advocate in a mindful way, in a composed way, in a way that is filled with wisdom and compassion. And so, we're going to have a message of encouragement today. I'm going to meditate for you today. I'm going to hold space and hold this container for us as we take a deep dive within. But before we do that, we're going to take a moment to come into the presence of this space. It's so important that we learn how to settle, find a place of stability and composure, Find a place of ease and equanimity. Life often has us on overdrive, where we are always moving forward at a fast pace. And we don't take that time to slow down, to engage in that deep reflection. And so I want to invite you to slow down and look deep within yourself, to look at your own heart, to look with precision at your own thoughts. Not in a judgmental way, not trying to make some go away, not to try to push away the unpleasantness, but to open your humanity, to open to the vastness of your life, the complexity of it all. And the invitation today is our mantra: I am willing to walk the mindful road. If you want, you can simply silently say that mantra, or if you would like, you can sing it with me. I don't have the best voice in the world. You may not have it either. But in this moment, we can choose to walk this mindful road. I am willing to walk this mindful road. I am willing to walk this mindful road. I am willing, I am willing, I am willing, I am willing, I am willing to walk this mindful road. So beautiful. Slowing down and entering the presence of this moment. Clearing a space within you. Clearing the toxic energies that surround you, that have kept you in bondage. Clearing space for new ideas to enter into your life. I am willing to walk this mindful road. I am willing to walk this mindful road. I'm willing, I am willing, I am willing to walk this mindful road. I'll invite you to come into our Qigong or mindful movement practice for a moment, bringing your hands towards your abdomen. In this teaching, it's called the Hara, engaging in a gentle expansion and contraction as we clear this space. Inviting ease into our life. Inviting compassion into our life. Inviting wonder into our life. Holding space in this moment, bringing our hands towards our heart and expanding. May your heart continue to expand. May peace be upon you. May wisdom and compassion find home. Bringing our hands towards our head and all the drama in our lives, clearing a space. May you see clearly through the fog. May you open May you see things through new lens. Settling down, it's wonderful for you to come into this space. I am willing to walk the mindful road. It may not be the easiest path. It may be easier just to tune out instead of tuning in. But it's beautiful that you have chosen to walk this mindful road. And so I have a message for you, a message of encouragement, a message that I hope inspires you on your mindful path of this Dharma that helps bring you into this community. I want to start with, there's a page here, a verse that I want to share with you. Let me turn to the page. And so it's verse 315 in the Dharmapada. It says, just as a fortified city is guarded inside and out, so guard yourself. Don't let a moment pass you by. Those who let the moment pass grieve when they're consigned to hell. Ashamed of what's not shameful, and not ashamed of what is, those who take up wrong views go to a bad rebirth. And so the invitation of this practice is to be like that fortified city that is guarded inside and out. The invitation of the practice of mindfulness is wisdom and compassion. Wisdom tells us that we should guard our heart. Compassion tells us that we should open our heart. And so we don't open our heart to destructive forces. We don't open our heart to negative influences. We're not opening our heart to hard liquor or trying to get drunk or trying to cloud our mind or trying to seduce our way or opening our heart to greed. We're opening our heart to good intents. We're opening our heart to virtue. We're opening our heart to wisdom. We're opening our heart to kindness and love. You have to be discerning as mindful people as what you're inviting into your life. It's so easy to say that, I'm so consumed with wanting to help someone. I'm so consumed with wanting to heal someone that I will give up my own welfare. The Dharma says that that is not wise to give up your welfare, right? It's not wise for you to become homeless, to help someone who is homeless, but it is wise and compassionate for you to advocate for strong positions in order to help the homeless. It is wise to give to charities that help the homeless. It is wise to provide food that help the homeless, but it is not wise for you to become homeless to help the homeless. Right? You have to be wise and discerning in how you go about it. It is wisdom to keep a roof over your head and to keep yourself satisfied and to find contentment in home. Right? And it is wise to help your neighbors ensure that they're able to keep a roof over their head by keeping them wise and encouraging them and speaking virtue into their lives. It's wise to help your family members in keeping a roof over their head. But it is not wise to give up your roof. Because if you give up your roof and others don't have a roof, that's you who needs the help. And so if you are able to sustain yourself, if you are able to support yourself, if you're able to be responsible and have this sense of duty, then you can keep a roof over your head. And then of your overflow of wisdom and of your overflow of resources and of your overflow of compassion, you can help others bring a roof over their head. The Dharma says that when you are in difficult situations, when you are facing adversity, that you are to build a raft. You're supposed to use your intellect. You're supposed to use your wisdom. You're supposed to use your talents. You're supposed to use your skill sets to create a solution that will help you cross over the adversity onto the other side. The invitation of the Dharma is that within you is a reservoir of power. It's everything that you need in order to meet the challenge that you face. That nothing is lacking from inside of you. That you have these resources, that you have the skill and the talent to meet the challenge and to cross over it onto the other side. And so when you're going through a difficult time, I want to say, first, you need to find a sense of stability, right? If your life is in chaos and everything is hostile and it's turning to a mess, you have to find stability in the middle of your storm. That's step one. When you're able to come into a place of composure, when you're able to come into a place of ease in the middle of all the drama, you're able to see clearly. You're able to perceive clearly. You're able to navigate in a more skillful way instead of just operating from a place of reactivity. Because we all know when we're facing challenges and we're facing setbacks and pain, immediately it intensifies what we're going through, right? It amplifies the feelings that we have. And so if we are experiencing some sort of pain or punishment or rejection or shame, it all feels magnified when we're in a situation where we feel like there's an immediate threat, where we feel like it's hostile. And so the invitation of our practice is one to adopt a right view, right? A right intention, a right voice, to see clearly. That's the basis. If you're able to see and understand clearly, you're able to navigate more clearly. So that's why we often say, find the space in the middle of your storm to take a deep dive within, to reconnect with your core values. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. You can do it with a single breath. I always say this, you can summon the power of prajna, that wisdom of compassion, with a single breath. Inhale. Just like that, you can regroup. Just like that, you can find a skillful path forward. Just like that, you can summon a deep reservoir of strength within you. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. And so the Dharma says it this way. Health is the foremost possession. Contentment is the foremost wealth. Trust is the foremost kinship. And nirvana, the foremost happiness. Friends, are you pursuing health in your life? Are you taking care of your body? Are you taking care of your mind? Are you taking care of bringing your mind and body into balance? Are you moving? Are you exercising? Are you consuming wise ways and healthy ways? Are you taking time to engage in mental health activities that bring balance to your mind, whether it's journaling, meditation, qigong or tai chi or some mindful movement, yoga, that helps bring you into a place of balance, that helps you remember your somatic experience, that helps remember the sensations in your body. This is a good thing. Contentment. We're in a season of the holidays and all we want gifts and we want presents. And while that can be beautiful, it can also lead to greed. Right? It can also lead to just being gluttonous, right? And just consuming, blind consumption, no care, right? And just racking up massive amounts of debt, not engaging in wise spending. If you're doing that, it says contentment is the foremost happiness, right? You may be alone during the holiday season and all you want, oh my God, if I only had this relationship, I would be so at ease. If I only had kids, I would be so at ease. If I only had my family, I could be so at ease. And what we have to do is find contentment in where we are. And finding that contentment may be, sometimes I may have to be with myself. Sometimes I may have to be content within the confines of the community that I have, right? That you may have to find community, that you have to find contentment in not necessarily having one of those Norman Rockwell nuclear holidays. That the family that you were born into, it may not be Leave It to Beaver, right? It may not be the perfect family, but you find contentment within where you are. You find value in who you are with. You find that sense of belonging and identity with where you are. And if you're able to find that contentment, it says that that is the foremost wealth. You can have all the money in the world right now in this holiday season and still feel alone, and still feel isolated, and still not have peace within your mind, and still have a heart that is in chaos, and still have a body that is not in alignment. And so the deeper invitation of our practice is that we find a sense of contentment, a sense of equanimity and composure where we are and with what we have. It says trust is the foremost kinship, right? It's nothing like having a good friend who you can share who you are, who knows you, who you don't have to be guarded around, right? There's nothing like being able to trust in someone, right? And to have their confidence, right? That is a beautiful relationship of reciprocity, that you are able to speak unto them and they speak unto you, knowing that it's not going to be used against you. It's remarkably mentally freeing. And as the Dharma says, that is the ultimate kinship, right? That's the ultimate bond. That's the ultimate brotherhood, to be able to trust and to be trusted. And nirvana, this awakening, this awakened state, this awareness, is the foremost happiness, right? Becoming who you are meant to be, becoming aware, right? Of stepping into your personhood, of coming into the fullness of your humanity, of rediscovering yourself, of finding your voice. This is the ultimate happiness. And so I want to invite you that as we walk down this mindful path, as we discover the Dharma, this is essentially finding a value set for our hearts. Right? That's what this is. It's unleashing the ultimate value sets. And many of us, we come from different backgrounds, we come from different zip codes, we come from different ways of viewing and speaking, we come from different boundaries and countries, but we share in this common bond of mindfulness, this shared value set of the heart, of wisdom and compassion, of kindness. And how do you know that we share in this common bond? Because it resonates within your own heart, within your own life. You go, there's something about this that is a homecoming. This is so welcoming. This is like being grafted in. It's like you're just coming back to a space that's so familiar, right? It's like an extension of you. And it's not that this heart set that we're cultivating, this value set that we're cultivating, is that we're going to live perfect lives, because we won't. We'll fall short. We'll have shortcomings. We'll have difficulties. We'll have failures along the way. That's part of the structure of life. That's part of reality. That's part of the human experience. We will all have the dark night of the soul. But the question is that can we orient our heart towards truth? Towards this mindful way of being, towards the Dharma. That's the deeper invitation here. With the time that you have remaining, and even with everything that's chaos, and even with the debates and all the criticism over whether you should have a wine cave or not, whether healthcare should be single payer or not, regardless of all of that, can we come together as a people? Can we come together in this shared sense of values, of kindness and empathy and love and kindness? Where can we find common language? A language of the heart. This teaching says that we should be committed to virtue and dutiful and noble. If we find ourselves able to find those common threads, those themes that weave throughout our humanity, that can weave from our heart into the hearts of others, then we're able to find skillful ways to navigate forward through the adversity and challenges that we face. And so as you are continuing to grow in this Dharma, as you walk on this mindful path, how do you note the changes that's taking place? How do you mark them? How do you acknowledge your growth? I acknowledge it through my journaling. I acknowledge it through silently in my meditation practice. I acknowledge it when I go out for walks. Just the other day, I went out to the beach, out there at Venice Beach, and there was a drum circle that took place, and I just let myself be free, right? I came into a place of gratitude right there in the middle of the beach, as the wind was blowing. It was chilly outside. Saw some palm trees out, and the sun was lowering, and the group of people were playing, and there were voices all around. And I simply acknowledged that I'm coming into a deeper sense of my personhood, that I am so grateful that I'm able to share in this experience, right? Of being in the midst of this drumming circle, right? Of coming into this space of community, of people who I don't know, who have different background from, who I may never say a word to and may never see again. But we shared this moment, right? And that's how I acknowledged a change within myself and my life, and being that silent witness. And on my journey of mindfulness, on my journey towards the Dharma, I see who I am becoming. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to go down this road and see how far back I've gone, but also to see to where I am going. And to see the person, the man that I am meant to be. And the last point that I want to make for this message is that walking this mindful path and in this way of becoming who I am, I feel like I'm getting closer to my heart. My heart is revealing itself to me. It's showing me the depth of my nobility. It's showing the depth of wisdom. It's showing me a depth of power and compassion. I'm seeing that. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to see. And so I want to ask you, who are you becoming on this journey of mindfulness? Who are you becoming? How are you acknowledging your progress on this journey? And how is your heart revealing itself? Are you growing closer to it? Are you moving away from it? Are you leaning towards it? Are you embracing your heart? Are you embracing this sense of love and compassion and kindness? Or are you retreating from it? That's the question. So I hope this message was helpful for you. I hope that it sparked something within you, even if it is just a little glimpse about what's possible. Right? Just a little. That's all we need. That help propel us forward. Friends, I see what the Dharma can be. I see its beauty. And I see that it can take us great distances. It can help us cross major boundaries. It can help us cross vast distances. It can help bring us into new understandings, but also into new homes, new careers, new cars, new relationships. This is a road that has it all. The possibilities exist, friends. And as we prepare for our meditation, I have my meditation cloth right here. And as I unravel it, I'm going to bring out some of the meditation requests that have been submitted. If you have a meditation request, you can submit them online on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram just by DMing me, direct messaging me. And so I have a request here from Amy in Scottsdale, who is requesting to be strengthened in her relationship, strengthened in her relationships. And so, Amy, we're holding a place of strength for you as you navigate through your relationships. I have Franklin in Atlanta who's seeking career advancement. We're holding a space for Franklin today as he's seeking to move forward in his career, as he's seeking to advance in his career. We're holding space for you, Franklin. And to Lynn in Seattle, who's seeking clarity on an important business decision. Lynn, I'm holding space for you in this moment. That you find wisdom and clarity to skillfully navigate through this vital business decision. And to everyone else who submitted meditation requests, I'm holding a space for you as well. This will become an altar, this meditation cloth, an altar of our practice. And it is a space that enables us to remember who we are and where we're going. And so I hold space for all of these meditation requests that have come in today. I invite you to come into a upright and comfortable seated position as we prepare our meditation. Taking a deep breath within and releasing. A deep breath within and releasing. Holding space for all the challenges that people are facing in their meditation practice right now. May the wisdom and guidance and power to overcome adversity, may the resilience begin to emerge that propels you towards higher ground. May your heart reveal itself in ways of truth and understanding. May the depth of your being unfold. May we be guided towards truth. May we release into our lives and into our world boundless gifts, holding space for everyone seeking housing during this holiday season. May homes emerge. May down payments emerge. May offer letters be accepted. May mortgages be approved. May you find the perfect home. May transportation be provided, safe and reliable cars, the color that you've been hoping for, holding space for that as well. May anyone who's facing career difficulties, may careers emerge for you better than you expected. May new opportunities emerge for you. May your health be restored. May you see your health in new ways of understanding it. May you be whole. May you be at peace. And may you be well. As we prepare to transition out of this practice, may you maintain the space that we have created here. Well-practiced friends, it was beautiful to be able to sit with you. It was wonderful to be able to hold space with you in mindfulness, to come together in this community, to be bonded together on this mindful road, on this path of the Dharma, of awakening hearts and minds all over the world. It doesn't matter if there's a bunch of hate outside. It doesn't matter if there's a bunch of hostility outside, on this inside, in this community, within this circle of mindfulness, there is love and there is wisdom and there is compassion and there is kindness and there is strength. I'm holding space for you, for your gifts to emerge, for your talents to emerge, for your resources to emerge that help propel you towards higher ground, that help you reach the other side. I'm continuing to hold space for all the meditation requests. I'm holding space for you and for your welfare and for your well-being. Listen, friends, wherever you are on your mindful journey, you are obligated to be generous, to use your overflow, to open your gifts, your talents, and your resources. The French have a phrase, noblesse oblige, the noble obligation, the obligation of nobility. With nobility comes responsibility. And this responsibility is that you are supposed to give of your overflow. I invite you today to give generously towards Flourishing Academy so that your resources can be used to help bring this message, this teaching, this movement of mindfulness all around the world. This is a world that is in pain. This is a world that has fallen. This is a world that is in decay. The evidence is all around. Don't believe me? Just turn on the news for 5 seconds and you will see a story that breaks your heart. And you say, where have we gone wrong? Where are we lost? But you can help restore the heart set, the value set, that we can find a common thread that can weave through the hearts of leadership, that can help weave through communities, that can help weave through the young and the old until no one is left out. You can help create this world, friend. So, thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for practicing with me. Thank you for being generous. Wherever you are in the world, I'm holding space for you. I invite you to say our affirmation to remember your nobility. Say it with me. I have value and I have worth because I am of noble birth. And with this breath, I will awaken to all that's possible within my life. I will lead and I will achieve. I will lead and I will achieve. Friends, if you say that affirmation, you are awakening towards the Dharma, towards the nobility within your life. Best of luck on your journey of discovery, of becoming who you are. May you be brilliant and wise. Until next time, namaste. Take care of yourself.